All right, our first question is from EM Hot in Pink 9. How do men get jacked in prison if they're not eating in a calorie surplus?
Well, okay, so first off, obviously to build muscle, you have to be in at least somewhat of a surplus. So that's not entirely correct. But I do get a lot of questions about this. Is like, some prisons don't even have equipment. They're eating, top ramen and tuna fish. Like, how are they able to build so much muscle and whatever? And the number one reason is frequency, and the second reason is consistency. They work out often, and they work out a lot.
That's not it either. There's also still this misconception of what jacked is. And we've talked about this on the show. Mm-hmm. All of us have talked about when I got lean, or when any of us got really lean, I got more jacked. You look huge compliments than ever. So when you lean somebody out, even somebody who doesn't work out has got muscle. They have shoulders, they've got pecs, they've got a back, they got legs.
Definitely got a six-pack.
Yeah, they've got they have those muscles. If you peel down all the body fat, they look jacked. Mm-hmm. They'll look like they built a bunch of muscle. So there's a couple things going on here. So it isn't always, you rarely see a guy go into prison, okay, at 185 and he comes out at 215 and jacked. Mm-hmm. And that's also to say too, I bet some of them get stuff.
Yeah,
because they found ways to get all other drugs. I wouldn't be surprised if they found ways to get D-ball and
inside there.
Yeah,
for getting things on the outside. But I think it's probably even shifted. I think that might have been the case, like, a decade or so back when they didn't they allow like weights and they were able to actually have actual plates and everything.
Yeah.
But they removed that from a lot of the prisons.
Not even all of them, though. Just
California.
Yeah, I was going to say, not all prisons are like that.
One of the biggest, I think, stupidest things they ever did. I think exercise is a great way to reduce depression, anxiety, of course, improve good mood. It's a very positive way to build self-esteem, give you a little bit of purpose, and it's an effective tool to take away if somebody messes up. So I think that was very dumb. But here's the thing. So I had a couple people work for me in the past who served some time, and we actually talked about this, and they said, you work out all day. Like you wake up in the morning and you do push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups.
It's like self-preservation too. There's extra motivation there.
It's like you break up your day with like 3 different workouts. It's not like they go and work out for an hour, 3 days a week. What else are you going to do? And literally, one of my employees told me this. He goes, you work out and you read, or you lose your mind. So what I did all day was I worked out 3 times a day, and I read all the time. I read more books in prison than I'll ever read in the rest of my life. Yeah. But that frequency and that frequent practice and that consistency, especially when you're dogged about it, right? It's like, I'm in here for 5 years. Every day looks exactly the same. What am I going to do? A lot of these guys, this is how they maintain sanity. And if you practice exercises 3 times a day, every single day, consistently, and you don't overdo it, and you're super consistent about it, you will build strength and muscle. You just will. And
there's also the potential. I mean, we're speculating on what everybody does in prison, and the reality is there's probably lots of different examples. There's probably an example of somebody who smuggles extra calories in there, and so that's why he gets bigger. There's maybe somebody who actually never worked out till they went to prison, and now they have those newbie gains where anything they do, they're going to start to build a little bit of muscle regardless of their calorie intake. So, or there's the guy who is doing 3 days a week or 3 days or 3 times a day every day training, so his frequency is up there. So there's lots of reasons why this could be. So, and then there's the other one where they could be getting drugs too. There's a very good chance that some of them are taking steroids in there. So, if you'd have to give me the exact person and then me be able to assess what I think from that. So all those though are major factors. I mean, all those things can result in someone building an incredible physique. I don't think it's a like one size fits all, like, oh, this is what they're all doing in prison. It's like, well, there's probably this potentially going on. This could potentially be going on.
And how do you know they're not smuggling more food too?
That's what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I said that as a possible variable. Like, you better believe some people are getting calories.
Sometimes they trade it.
Yeah.
So they'll play games, and then cigarettes or packets of tuna can be really, really popular in prison. Protein
so to
powder.
Say they're not getting a surplus is kind of like, it's just,
and I would make the argument that most of these, the guys that we're talking about and or girls that get jacked, the definition of jacked is showing more muscle definition, you know? And so a lot of them probably just lean out, and a lot of them probably lean out because they're eating low calorie, only 3 meals a day, and moving and exercising all day long.
One of the guys that one of my employees, they would be locked down for a majority of the day. So a majority of the day, you were stuck in your cell, and then they would let each person out for like an hour or two a day. And literally that's what he said. He goes, the way you keep your sanity is you break up your day with exercises. And I'm like, in your cell? And he goes, oh yeah, you do pull-ups on the top bunk.
Handstand push-ups.
You do push-ups, you do handstand push-ups, you do sit-ups, you do lunges. He's like, you do all kinds of, creative exercises just to kind of maintain your sanity. And you get really good at doing. You ever seen barmen? You ever seen guys that are really good on bars?
Oh yeah.
Okay, some of these guys in prison on bars are like gymnasts because for years, this is what they practice every single day, and they develop tremendous skill.
I feel like what prompted this question is the episode that we did not that long ago, because we got some stuff on YouTube where a couple people that saw the clip started debating.
Practicing push-ups?
No. We talked about how you don't, in order to build muscle, you need to be in a calorie surplus.
Oh, I see.
And we got debate on YouTube a little bit from it. So I think I feel like that's where this is coming from, because that was just recently, like a week ago. That's been like one of the most recent contested things that we've said. And of course, everybody takes one piece of that and they try and run with it. It's like there's always exceptions to the rule. The exception to the rule is somebody who hasn't lifted weights ever or hasn't in a very long time. And even in a calorie deficit, that person could potentially build some muscle.
Also, I do want to make this point, like never underestimate the ingenuity of people when they have nothing else to do. I mean, you have in prison, you have a bit of a self-selection bias. Supposedly not the smartest, brightest people, right, go to prison. And yet, if you ever learn about the economics and the ingenuity,
the communication that they
in
have.
prison, it would blow your damn mind. I mean, they have ways of communicating through the toilets where they can go through the pipes, where they can make their own alcohol. They make tattoo guns. They can make all kinds of different devices and ways to listen and communicate with each other and ways to smuggle things. And
they make up their own languages so you can write in code and do stuff.
Now, why? They're locked in a cell. They have nothing else to do, and so they're just disciplined.
Focus on something else.
Yeah. So imagine that with exercise or learning. You know how many people go to prison, come out with a degree or even a master's degree because they had nothing else. I've read stories of people who actually built their cases and then defended themselves or appealed their cases themselves.
Right.
And they became lawyers.
Taught themselves law.
Yeah. So never underestimate like what people are capable of when they have no other choice.